Hello students, today we are going to study the next chapter, organic chemistry, which is new to you because you are studying for the first time at school level. So pay utmost attention and concentrate. Go through the video a number of times, only then it will be easy and clear for you to understand. The major source of naturally occurring substances are minerals, plants and animals. Lavoisier classified substances into organic and inorganic substance. Organic substances derived from plants and animals, inorganic substance derived from other sources. Until the early 19th century, it was believed that organic compounds cannot be synthesized in the laboratory and some mysterious force, that is the vital force, was required for the preparation of organic compounds. But this theory was proved wrong by Euler, a German chemist who accidentally prepared urea while heating potassium cyanide with ammonium sulfate. Urea was previously extracted from the urine of animals. Its synthesis clearly showed that no vital force was involved in the production of the organic compound. Thus, Euler's synthesis of urea was the first step in the rejection of the vital force theory. Now, what is organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is the study of carbon and its compound except, except oxides, carbonates, bicarbonates and carbides. Now what are oxides? That is carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Though they contain carbon in them, the carbonates also contain carbon, bicarbonates and carbides also contain carbon. But these are not included under organic chemistry because these compounds properties are different from that of organic substances. So main organic compound is hydrocarbon. What is an hydrocarbon? Organic compounds composed of carbon and hydrogen only. Example, methane and C2H2 is called ethine. Now we have a number of unique nature of carbon. That is based on that there are a number of compounds which can be prepared from carbon. That's why carbon exhibits unique nature. Thereby millions of compounds are possible using carbon as one of the element. Now the unique nature of carbon, that is tetravalency of carbon atom. What is tetravalency? Tetravalency is it has 4 valence electrons. That is, the atomic number of carbon is 6, its electronic configuration is 2, 4. It has 4 electrons in its valence shell. That's called as tetravalency. Carbon forms 4 covalent bonds by mutually sharing its 4 electrons with other atoms and hence tetravalent and exhibits tetravalency. So here you can see methane CH4, carbon with 4 electrons and 4 hydrogen with 1 each electron. They share the electron, carbon and hydrogen share electron and form a bond. That bond is called as covalent bond. A pair of bond, electron forms a single bond. So carbon has 4 single bonds. So you can see here carbon has 4 single bonds connected to 4 hydrogen atoms, thus forming a molecule of methane. So the tetravalency of carbon atom, it has 4 valence electrons and these 4 valence electrons share the electron with 1 each of hydrogen forming a molecule of methane. Thereby hydrogen gets a duplet configuration and carbon gets an octet configuration. The next unique property of carbon is catenation. Now what is catenation? Catenation is the tendency of an element to form chain of identical atoms. That is self-linking property of carbon. By self-linking itself, it forms a long chain structure. So a number of carbon atoms can form one single compound. So that is example, a long chain or a ring structure can be formed. So catenation is maximum in carbon. Thus, carbon undergoes self-linking, forming straight chain, branch chain, and closed chains. Here are the example. It can link to itself, forming a straight chain compound, or it can form a branch structure like this. 3 carbons in a line and 2 carbons are branched from that, or it can form a cyclic structure. That is, a carbon is closed loop. A closed loop is formed. This closed chain. Catenation and tetravalency also results in the formation of single, double, and triple bond. That is, carbon can link with another carbon by a single bond. When one pair of electrons is shared, it forms a single bond. When 2 pairs of electrons are shared between carbon atom, it forms a double bond. When 3 pairs of carbon atoms are shared, it forms a triple bond. So if it has a single bond, it belongs to alkanes. Double bond belongs to alkene and triple bond belongs to alkyne. So you can see a single bond ends with ANE. The name of the compound ends with ANE. A double bond compound ends with ENE. If it has a triple bond, it ends with YNE. All in the detail we'll study when we study about nomenclature. Now just understand what is catenation. Catenation is the tendency of an element to form chain of identical atoms. Identical means same atoms. That is self-linking property of carbon. So it can form a straight chain, can form a branch chain, or it can form a closed chain. And because of catenation and tetravalency, they also have a single bond, double bond, and a triple bond between the carbon atoms. Now the third unique property of carbon is it forms isomers. What are isomers? Isomers are organic compounds which have same molecular formula but different structural formula. You have studied about isotopes. What are isotopes? They have same atomic number but different mass number. But these are isomers. These are found in organic compounds. They have same molecular formula but different structural formula. One example is butane. Butane is C4H10. So you can see here it has a structure. One of the structure is the straight chain structure. There are 4 carbon atoms and you have 10 hydrogens surrounding it. So this is one of the structure. The same C4 here you find 3 carbon in a line and 1 down, but you find a branch structure here. So this is called as N-butane or normal butane, and this is called as isomer of butane, and that is isobutane. So what are isomers? Organic compounds which have same molecular formula, that is C4H10, but different structural formula. So these are the 2 structural formulas of butane, that is N-butane or just butane and isobutane. The next is classification of organic compounds. Organic compounds can be classified into aliphatic or open chain compounds or cyclic or closed chain compounds. Aliphatic or cyclic, open chain or closed chain. First we'll study about aliphatic hydrocarbons. So these are compounds in which the first and the last carbon atoms in the chain are not directly joined to each other. The open chain of carbon may be straight or branched. So you can see here, example, you have here carbon in a line. The first carbon and the last carbon are not joined. Or it can be in the form of a branch structure. Here again you can find the first and the last carbon are not joined. So such type of structures are called as aliphatic or open chain compounds. These compounds are examples for aliphatic or open chain compounds. What are aliphatic? Compounds in which the first and the last carbon atoms in the chain are not directly joined to each other. They are all joined but not directly joined. Find the first and the carbon not joined. The first and the carbon atoms are not joined. So aliphatic compounds can be further classified into saturated and unsaturated compounds. Saturated compounds, the carbon to carbon is joined by a single bond. In unsaturated compound, carbon and carbon atoms are joined by a double or a triple bond. Saturated hydrocarbons are alkanes. Unsaturated hydrocarbons are alkenes and alkynes. On the whole, aliphatic hydrocarbons contain alkanes, alkenes and alkynes. So alkanes are saturated, alkenes and alkynes are unsaturated hydrocarbons. The example for alkane is ethane. Alkane always ends with ane. Alkenes end with ene. So it is ethane, here it is ethene, and here it ends with yne and it is ethyne. Cyclic or closed chain compounds. So these we are not going to study much in detail about cyclic or closed chain compound. What is given here with example is enough for you. These are compounds in which the first and the last carbon atoms are joined. What did you study here? The first and the last carbon atoms, the chain are not directly joined. Whereas here you find the first and the last carbon atoms are joined to each other. So here you can see, if you start from here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon. The first and the sixth carbon is joined directly. So that is called as cyclic or closed chain compounds. So cyclic or closed chain compounds are classified into homocyclic and heterocyclic compounds. Now what is homocyclic compounds? These compounds are molecules that consist only of carbon atoms within the ring. So you can see here, the carbons in the inside the ring, you find only the carbon, that is homocyclic. Whereas here you can see, apart from carbon you find nitrogen also. So heterocyclic compounds has at least two different elements in its ring. So you find carbon and nitrogen. It can be nitrogen or sulfur or oxygens, but you find two different elements. Whereas in the cyclic compound you find only carbon within the ring. Now, example for homocyclic is benzene. Benzene is C6H6. And for heterocyclic, it is pyridine. Pyridine is C6H5N. So, if you count here, you'll find there are 6 carbon and 6 hydrogen. So, C6H6 is benzene. Example for homocyclic compounds. And here, if you count, you'll find that you have 6 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons, 5 hydrogens and 1 nitrogen. So, it's an example for pyridine. Pyridine is an example for heterocyclic hydrocarbons. The next is homologous series of hydrocarbons. Now, what is homologous series? Series of organic compounds where the successive members follow a regular structural pattern differing by a CH2 group. So I repeat, what is homologous series? Series of organic compounds where the successive members follow regular structural pattern differing by a CH2 group. So there are two main groups of hydrocarbons, that is saturated and unsaturated. We have already studied. Saturated is containing carbon atoms joined by a single covalent bond. Example is alkanes. And unsaturated hydrocarbons containing carbon atoms joined by a double or a triple covalent bond. Example, we studied alkenes and alkynes. So here is the homologous series given of these series of compounds. They are called alkane homologous series. These are homologous series of alkenes and these are homologous series of alkyne. Now to understand this definition, I'll explain to you. Methane, the formula is CH4. Now the successive member, that's the next member is ethane, that is C2H6. Now what is the difference in the number of elements present in these two compounds? You find CH4 and C2H6. So when you add a CH2 to this CH4, you get the next member. So that's what it means. Series of organic compound, these are the series of organic compound where the successive member, that is the member one after the other, follow a structural pattern differing by a CH2 group. So every next member you find there's a difference of a CH2 group. So between methane and ethane, CH2 difference is there. Now you add CH2 to the second member, that is the ethane. You get the next member, that is propane, C3H5. Similarly, C4H10, C5H12, C6H14, and it's given only up to hexane. Then you have heptane, octane, nonane, and decane. That is, every member differs by a CH2 group. It is not only for alkanes, it is for alkenes and alkynes also. So here you find the first member is not methane, it is ethane. So the first member itself starts with two carbon atoms here. Unlike alkanes, you have the first member with a single carbon atom. With alkenes, you find the first member is with two carbon atoms. So you find C2H4 as the first member of the alkene homologous series. So you add a CH2 to this, you get the next member, that is propene. Similarly, butene, pentene, hexene, heptene, octane, nonene, and decene. Then the alkyne group. So the homologous series starts with ethyne, that is C2H2. Then you have propyne, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonene, and decane. So every member, the successive member, differs by a CH2 group. So these are the general formulas. All about this in detail we'll study later on in the next part of the video. So alkane has the general formula CnH2n plus 2. By knowing only the general formula, you can write the formula of all these compounds. So it is no need for you to memorize all these formulas. Just remember the general formula of alkane, alkene, and alkyne. You will be able to write all this formula, which I'll be teaching in the next part of the lesson. Now, structure of organic compounds. So, organic compounds can be represented by molecular formula and structural formula. Molecular formula you are already familiar with because you have already studied about what is the molecular formula. What does it indicate? It indicates the actual number of atoms present in the molecule. So, example here is ethane. Ethane has 2 carbon atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms. This is the molecular formula. What is structural formula? This is new to you. So what is structural formula? It indicates the arrangement of various atoms in a molecules. So you have C2H2. This can be arranged in the different way, in a particular form. That is called a structural formula. So it can be represented as branched or condensed. Structural formula can be branched like this, or it can be condensed like this. So you find ethane, that is C2H2, can be written as C, a bond C, and surrounded by hydrogens. So you find that each carbon is surrounded by 4 bonds. So that is, it is completing its octet configuration. 4 bonds means 8 electrons. So you find this carbon also is surrounded by 4 bonds. So see that when you write this structural formula, each carbon has to be surrounded by 4 bonds, which means it is completing its octet configuration. And each bond represents 2 electrons. So hydrogen completes its duplet configuration. This branch structure can be condensed and written, that is CH3. So CH3, a bond here, and CH3. So this is branch structure and this is condensed structure. So structure of organic compounds, you can write it in the branch structure or condensed structure. Isomerism you have already studied. We will study a little more in detail about isomerism. Now isomers are organic compounds having same molecular formula but different structural formula. Isomers have similar chemical properties because the molecular formula is the same. So they have similar chemical properties but they differ in their physical properties. With the increase in number of carbon atoms in a molecule, for example C4H10, that is the number of carbon atom as it increases, the number of isomers also increase. With increase in number of carbon atoms, the number of isomers also increases. So two examples we have taken here. One is butane, that is C4H10. So it has 4 carbon atoms, so it gives two types of structures, two isomers, and Pentane has 5 carbon atoms, that is more than butane. So it shows 3 isomers. So you can see here the structures here. This is butane. C4, you can see 4 carbon atoms surrounded by 10 hydrogen atoms. This is normal structure. So it is called N-butane or just butane. So one more isomer is 3 carbon atoms in a line and one is branch. So that is isomer of butane. So it is called as isobutane. But the structural formula is the same. C4H10. Here also it is C4H10. So one more example is pentane. C5H12 has 3 isomers. So here you find N-pentane. N-pentane is normal pentane. Writing all the carbon atoms in a line, in a straight line, that is 5 carbons surrounded by 12 hydrogen atoms. Then this is isopentane. Writing 4 carbon atoms in a line and 1 carbon is branch. So this also contains C5 and H12 atoms. So it is isopentane. Here you find 3 carbon in a line. There are 2 branched carbons. So this is called as neopentane. So pentane has 3 isomers. One is N-pentane, isopentane and neopentane. Butane has only 2 isomers. That is N-butane and isobutane. Just butane you can write, or you can write it as N-butane. Here also pentane or N-pentane, isomer of pentane and neopentane. So as with the increase in number of carbon atoms, the number of isomers also increases. But a minimum of 4 carbon atoms are required for the formation of isomers. Below 4 carbon atoms, they will not have isomers. Like propane, ethane, methane and all cannot have isomers. Now types of isomerism. Chain isomerism and position isomerism. What is chain isomerism? When the same molecular formula represents 2 or more compounds having different arrangement of carbon atoms. Read it once more. There is different in the arrangement of carbon atoms in the chain. Same molecular formula represents 2 or more compounds having different arrangement of carbon atoms in the chain. So here these are all examples these are examples for chain isomerism. You find carbon atoms in a line here, whereas you find carbon atom is in a branched position. So here also you find the branching of carbon. So these are example for chain isomerism, because arrangement of carbon atom in the chain is different. Now what is position isomerism? When the same molecular formula represents 2 or more compounds which differ in the position of the functional group. Now what is functional group? There are many functional groups which in detail we'll be studying later. Now just to make you understand position isomerism, the one functional group which I have taken as example is double bond or triple bond. Also you can take it as functional group. So here the double bond is example taken to show position isomerism. So here it is about the position of the functional group, whereas here it is about the arrangement of carbon atom. When the carbon atom are differently arranged, it is chain isomerism. But in position isomerism, you find the functional group is arranged in different places. For example, here you can see 4 carbon atoms in a line, and you see between the first and the second carbon a double bond. So this is one way of writing the same compound. The second one also has 4 carbon atoms, but you find the double bond is between the second and the third carbon. So the position of the functional group, that is the double bond, is different here. In the first case, it is between the first and the second carbon atom. In the second case, you find it is between the second and the third carbon atom. So this type of arrangement of the functional group is called as position isomerism. As we proceed, all these terms will be clear to you. Now coming to the isomers of alkenes and alkynes. So alkenes exhibit mainly chain isomerism. What is chain isomerism? The difference in the placement of the carbon atom. So alkanes exhibit only chain isomerism. So you can see here butane, all carbon in a line and surrounded by hydrogen. 4 bonds, surrounded by 4 bonds, and these are bonded with hydrogen. Whereas here the carbon atom one carbon atom is shifted from the main chain to a branch. So this is also a chain isomerism because there is difference in the position of carbon. Alkenes exhibit chain and position isomerism. So here alkanes exhibit only chain isomerism. Alkenes exhibit both chain and position isomerism. So chain isomerism, you know, it is the carbon atoms are arranged in a straight chain or in a branch chain. So whereas position isomerism depends on the placement of the double or a triple bond. So you can see here 4 carbon atoms. Between the first and the second carbon atom you find a double bond. Whereas here you find between the second and the third carbon atom a double bond. So there is a change in the position of the double bond. Here also you find there is a change in the position of the double bond. So these are all examples for position isomerism. I am not telling you the names of these compounds because I have not taught you about nomenclature. So now what I want you all to understand is only about the position isomerism. So you should understand what is position isomerism. That is the placement of the functional group in the different position. But the compound is the same. They have C4. So they have butane it is actually. So C4 and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrogen. Here also the same case. The C4 and H8. But there is change in the position of the functional group. That is the double bond. So these are example for position isomerism. Then alkynes mainly exhibit position isomerism. So remember alkanes chain isomerism, alkynes position isomerism. Alkene exhibit both. So how to remember? Alkanes exhibit chain isomerism, alkynes exhibit position isomerism, whereas alkene exhibit both chain and position isomerism. So alkynes itself means carbon to carbon are connected by a triple bond. So you find a triple bond between these two carbon. So here in this first example you find it is between the first and the second carbon. Whereas in the second example you will find first carbon is here, second is here. So second and the third carbon, between second and the third carbon you find a triple bond. So there is a change in the position of the functional group. What is functional group here? It is a triple bond. So this is example for position isomerism. The naming of the compound we'll study later. This is called as 1-butane and it's called as 2-butane. So with this we come to the end of this part 1 of organic chemistry. Hope you are doing all the assignments given in the description box of every chapter. Please follow the scope of the syllabus when you are writing the assignments in your notebook.